Southeast Radio's Business Matters with Karl Fitzpatrick.
Well, creative agency Folk Wunderman Thompson has recently completed a research study about the modern Irish family and what brands need to be aware of. Its managing director, Laura Daley, will be delving into the detail. But Laura, how has the agency been performing this year?
Good morning, Karl. Many thanks for having me. I'm glad to say, Karl, we've had a very positive year in Folk. We've had really good business performance coming towards year end. We are proud to say that we've a very strong client base who've been with us for a number of years, but also we've added a number of clients to our portfolio this year, which we're really delighted about. Brands such as UCD, Bank of Ireland, and have also retained another piece of business as well, like Horse Racing Ireland. So really looking forward to kind of exciting things that we can do with those brands as we move into next year.
And talk to us about some of the more exciting projects that you worked on this year.
One of the big ones we would have worked on was the Rugby World Cup. We won't discuss the results. A really good journey there with our long-standing client Vodafone in terms of really, I suppose, bolstering the sponsorship and really, I suppose, building on the brilliant work that we've done with them in recent years and as their sponsorship continues beyond as well. So that was a great challenge. And also we spent a lot of time working with our clients in Lidl Ireland in terms of developing even further their Go Full Lidl campaign to drive full trolley shop, and the results for that have been phenomenal. And also one that's very, I suppose, close to the report that we'll be talking about is our client Irish Life. We help them with a health proposition, communicating a new offering they have to support female health in particular. So that was an interesting one, and one that was very much needed to be told, and a great proposition that they have to support female customers in Ireland.
And in terms of emerging trends within the creative agency space, what's hot right now?
God, I suppose you couldn't even have this conversation without mentioning AI. I suppose across every industry, the question is, what impact will it have? Will it really do and deliver on the magic that it's promising, or will it be something to be fearful of? But linking in with the thought leaders across our own network in Wunderman Thompson and indeed WPP, we think it's a really vital technology for us to embrace as an agency, and we've kind of been leading the way in conversations with our clients in that space.
And in terms of sponsorship opportunities in Ireland, is there a sufficient amount of them to satisfy your clients' needs?
I'd say there is, because I think it's become quite diverse, the nature of sponsorships and what properties there is. I think being such a strong sporting country, I think we have, a huge number of teams there. And, again, a poignant one for us is our sponsors, our clients, rather, Lidl Ireland, are sponsoring the LGFA. So we're doing some exciting work with them into next year on that as well. But also, I suppose, the likes of the Book Awards and lots of different spaces that people can move into. So to be honest, we haven't seen any limitations. And indeed, brands are actually creating their own properties that they can actually brand as well. So that's an exciting space to watch also.
And with that in mind, are you finding many of your clients are inquiring about the NFT space?
Yeah, we are actually, and there would have been a bit of work done with Brennan's Bread, who is a long-standing client of ours as well, would have worked with Mindshare's sister agency and ourselves on a project in this space last year. Testing the waters, to be honest with you, because it is a bit of an unknown, but they saw really positive results for it. And I think definitely a space that they're going to explore further.
And as I mentioned earlier, Folk Wunderman Thompson recently published the findings of its research study entitled The Family Fallacy. What prompted the company to conduct research into this particular area?
So I think in recent years, Karl, there's been a lot of anecdotal talk that the face of, or the structure rather of Irish families has changed significantly. And, we see that ourselves. And we just really wanted to, I suppose, put the data behind that and delve deeper into the subject area because, as I say, we work with lots of brands and we're supposed to be representing the Ireland of today. And our research just really showed us that actually, in many ways, although there's been great inroads made by ourselves and indeed the industry at large in terms of diversity and inclusion, and that perhaps we weren't going as far as we should. And actually, there was a massive growth opportunity there for the brands and clients we work with if we were able to really, I suppose, represent what that modern Irish family looks like.
And in terms of what constitutes a family in modern Ireland, what findings did the research unveil?
So ultimately, the kind of key stats that were sticking out first and foremost were that actually the traditional family structure of mum, dad and 2.4 kids actually only accounts for 36% of Irish households. So the question being, okay, well, what then constitutes the other 64%? So other kind of three key themes that came through that we kind of focused on throughout the report were, what does that modern family look like? Actually, there's a whole challenge in terms of the space of the war on home. And then there's new perspectives in terms of what the family construct is made up of as well. So again, we wanted to delve deeper into that.
It's a fascinating area, I have to say. Did the participants feel that these modern family structures are adequately reflected by advertisers?
No, not at all. And that was kind of one of the key stats as well, was that only 38% of Irish people feel that brands and companies are in touch with their family life and needs. And actually more than half of people in Ireland believe brands should help to normalise non-traditional family structures. And also then 68% of mothers in Ireland feel that the portrayal of family structures in advertising and marketing is stereotypical, while more than half of fathers in Ireland are also of the same view. So strong stats there.
And what can businesses do to create greater awareness about modern families in Ireland?
So I think what we would hope is that speaking to different clients that we work with and brands beyond those that we work with at the moment is that they can really take on board the learnings that we have within the report itself, and to be able to actually show different representation, but also as well to tell slightly different stories than that traditional story. I mean, one of the things that we saw that was interesting was that, some of the respondents said, when you're advertising holidays, all we see is that kind of perfect picture of, two parents and two kids. And actually, in some cases, there might be no children. And in some cases, then they're sort of saying, but actually my family isn't constructed like that. And actually seeing advertising like that creates, not only for me as a parent, an uncomfortable feeling, but also then if I have, an only child, or if I have a different family makeup, if I'm divorced, etc., then my child also seeing that kind of goes, well, why isn't that the perfect picture of our family holiday? So that was really interesting insight.
How have the roles of parents changed in recent years, and what impact does this have on branding?
I think one of the things that we were quite surprised in is that, there would have been a lot of a strong narrative during COVID that women in particular, mothers were feeling that they were carrying, I suppose, a greater burden within the home. And actually, sadly, the statistics have shown us that actually hasn't moved on all that much, with, the research saying that 63% of mothers feel that it's difficult to be a mother today, with 1 in 5 reporting feelings of burnout, and that there's a very strong unequal distribution of household chores. And parenting responsibility remains the persistent issue, causing tension for over half of mothers. So I thought that was very interesting. And then 73% of people in Ireland believe that becoming a mother makes career progression harder, while only 24% feel the same for men. So I suppose it really is, speaking to brands and clients, that are they supporting women and mothers in particular in being able to progress in their career in that way, and that they have the supports that are needed.
And Laura, were there any other surprising findings which were unearthed by the research?
Yeah, so one of the things as well is that actually, that there's a very strong narrative around the changing role of fatherhood in Ireland, with over half of fathers in Ireland feel that the portrayal of family structure in advertising and marketing is stereotypical as well. And that, the stereotype of fathers as less domestically adept compared to mothers still persists, which obviously isn't fair. When actually the stats show that fathers are much more involved in their children's lives than they have been before, and taking a very active role in parenting. So that was an interesting finding.
And of course, with the one-size-fits-all approach not going to work in the future, what are your top tips for developing advertising campaigns that will resonate with the modern Irish family?
So for us as well, I think it's before you kind of even get to advertising. I think it's, as a brand, as a client, is to, take a step back and say, okay, well, what are we doing from an employer? Do we have a robust diversity and inclusion in our hiring and HR policies, etc.? Are we using unconscious bias training to arm staff against stereotypical thinking? And then it's when you move into creating new marketing solutions, it's challenging your insights team to review what family audience you don't know yet enough about and find out more. And then challenge your proposition teams to look at new family realities and explore where you can build or adapt propositions for their needs. I suppose then when you get into testing creative and propositions, it's making sure that, that you're testing them with people who have different family perspectives in the research and really, I suppose, interrogating your methodologies. In the production process then, when you're shooting commercials, it's using kind of the report in our data, or the data in our report to make a commitment to represent a fully modern family in your communications and developing, I suppose, a production process tool to ensure that commitment is actioned. And then I suppose it's, storytelling always based on the human and not the label. And ultimately, what we saw as well is that, there is a real growth opportunity for brands because if advertising that challenges the stereotypes is used, then it's 25% more likely to deliver on brand metrics, which I think is a really compelling statistic for any marketing directors in this market.
Well, if you've just tuned in, that was Laura Daley, Managing Director of Folk Wunderman Thompson, and the information which Laura shared with us this morning certainly highlights the need for brands to consider the new type of family structures which exist in Ireland today.
Southeast Radio's Business Matters with Karl Fitzpatrick.